I want to replace some of the colorful placeholder spheres with 3D models. To create a model for the splatter, I'll use Blender. For the creation of the project, I'm influenced by Helldivers 2, and I want to make the splatter resemble one of the soldiers in the emote pose. For this, I'll use a front view of the pose and a side view by loading in example images, positioning them a bit away from the center, and making them a bit more transparent. Then we'll line them up with the feet on the 0 axis. And after some modeling, sculpting and painting, we're left with this model. To load the model into Godot, let's get rid of the images, light source and camera. We can check my wonderfully professional paint job and export it as a glTF 2.0. We then select a folder in Godot and drag the file into it. This will import the scene and the texture image, but no surprise, I want to have control and add only the mesh in the code. And to get just the mesh as a file, we can extract it from this scene. From actions, we can set the mesh save path and then click re-import, and it will save the mesh file here. Then we can delete the scene and go to the splatter script. The material needs to be linked to the texture image. And for this we'll make a reference to the material and fill it with the create function. To fill the model with our mesh, we load it into our body.mesh, and for it to use the texture, we load it into the albedo texture of our material. When dropping splatters now, we can see that the model has changed to our model, but the colors are still a bit off. And that's because our starting color is red and the texture colors are added on top of that. To fix this, we can simply set the base color of our material to white. And now my wonderful paint job can once again be feasted upon by your eyes. I've also created a model for the enemy, so let's repeat the steps to load that in. Import it to the enemies folder, open the scene, set the path of the mesh, re-import, delete the scene, let's copy the material code from the splatter, and set the albedo texture in the enemy, and connect the enemy model. Now in the game, we see a nice model for the enemy, and a nice model for the splatter.